You know, every single business out there, I don't care if it's a corner coffee shop or some massive global company, they all run into the exact same problem. How do you get noticed when you're surrounded by a million other options that look just like you? We're going to get into that by looking at some really great insights from Strategic Brand Management by Alexander Chernev, who's a marketing professor over at Northwestern University.
Right. I mean, think about it. How do you take something totally generic, something that's mass-produced and basically identical to everything else on the shelf, we're talking coffee, water, even salt, and somehow make it feel special, make it feel valuable? Well, the answer is all about one of the most powerful ideas in business, branding.
So to really get how branding works its magic, it helps to see where it came from. This wasn't some idea that just popped up overnight. Nope, it was a long journey from being just a simple mark on a piece of pottery to this huge, complex idea that literally lives inside our heads.
You can actually see it happen in stages. Way back in ancient times, a stamp on a pot was just a way of saying, hey, I made this. Then, boom, the Industrial Revolution hits. Suddenly, you've got factories turning out identical products, and you need a logo just to tell them apart. But then, things got interesting. With better packaging and printing, the companies making the stuff could finally talk directly to you, the shopper. And now, today, a brand can stand for an entire lifestyle, a whole set of values.
Okay, so this is the absolute key takeaway here. A brand is so much more than just a name or a cool logo. Its real job, its primary purpose, is to build a one-of-a-kind, meaningful picture in your mind. It's the thing that lets a company create value that has almost nothing to do with the physical stuff it's made of and everything to do with how we feel about it.
And this leads us to something people get mixed up all the time, the difference between a product and a brand. It is so important to understand that the thing you actually sell and the brand you build, they are not the same thing at all.
Let's break this down because it's crucial. A product is the objective reality. It's the tangible thing. You can weigh it, you can measure it, you can list its features. It's made in a factory. A brand, though, that's totally different. It's a subjective feeling. It's the story, the reputation, the emotion it triggers. A brand isn't created in a factory. It's created in the consumer's mind.
And because they're so different, managing them takes completely different skills. Just imagine a breakfast cereal company. The product manager is obsessed with the physical stuff, the fiber content, the exact amount of sugar, how loud the crunch is. But the brand manager, they're living in a different world. They're thinking about psychology. They're the one who dreams up a character like Tony the Tiger, not to tell you about the flakes, but to make you feel energized and confident. It's about building an emotional connection.
All right, so that's the theory. But how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, let's look at a perfect example of branding taking on the ultimate challenge, turning a commodity into something special. Let's talk about coffee.
So here was the situation. Back in the 50s, everybody knew Colombia grew amazing coffee beans. They had a fantastic product. But on the world market, coffee was just coffee. It was a commodity, plain and simple. That meant prices were all over the place, and when they crashed, the growers got hurt badly.
So the Colombian Coffee Growers Federation, the FNC, came up with this absolutely brilliant strategy. They realized the answer wasn't to change the coffee bean itself, it was to change how people thought about it. They decided they were going to build an entire brand identity around one simple idea: this coffee's unique origin. They'd guarantee it was 100% Colombian, not some cheap blend from all over the place.
And this was the stroke of genius. They didn't just come up with a logo, they created a person. Juan Valdez and his trusty mule Conchita became the living, breathing symbol of Colombian coffee. He stood for everything they wanted you to feel: authenticity, tradition, hard work, expertise. He wasn't just a farmer selling a commodity, he was an artisan sharing his craft with the world.
And would you look at the result? The proof is right here. That Café de Colombia brand, with Juan Valdez as its face, became a stamp of quality you could trust. And because of that trust, Colombian growers could suddenly charge a lot more for their coffee than the market average. They had successfully built a powerful brand that lifted their product out of the commodity trap.
The whole Juan Valdez story really shows us the true power of a brand. It's not just about getting a quick bump in sales. It's about building something that lasts, a real durable asset.
Seriously, think about it for a second. Products get old, they become obsolete, technology moves on. I mean, the first Gillette razor from 100 years ago is a collector's item now. But the Gillette brand, that idea of getting a precise, reliable, close shave, that's as powerful as it's ever been. All that trust just gets passed down from one generation of razors to the next, giving every new product a massive head start.
The brand is the one thing that stays constant.
This quote from the branding legend Walter Landor just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this whole idea. A factory can pump out physical things, but those things are temporary. The real, lasting value, that's created in the mind. The feelings, the loyalty, the story, that's what endures.
So when you boil it all down, this is the single most important question any business leader can ask themselves. Because it doesn't matter if you're selling coffee or cars or software, at the end of the day, you're not just selling a product, you're building a story in your customer's mind. And that story, well, that's your most valuable asset. Period.